So here with Locksmith
Yeah.
on a tour.
Yes, sir.
You want to just share how the tour is going?
Yeah, well, the tour is going good. We've only done 4 shows so far. We did 3 shows in BC and a couple in Alberta, and and then we took a little break, and now we are resuming the tour. And we were in Lloydminster. Now we're here in Saskatoon. We're making our way east.
Yeah, Winnipeg next, eh?
Yep, Winnipeg. Then where we going after that? Yeah, Windsor, hitting Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Ottawa on the 25th,
Montreal.
26th, Fredericton on the 20th.
I'm most excited to see. I've never been that far east.
Right.
Fredericton, Halifax. So
Yeah, honestly, neither have I.
okay, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I bumped into a few Canadians. People. I didn't realize how people are like, oh, I've never been to BC. I've never been to Ontario, or I've never been to some of these places. So I consider myself lucky to get to see it. You know.
Is that how it is in the States? You kind of stay in your area?
I mean,
Or-
the States is such. The population is so large, so you meet. I mean,
Right.
I feel like. I mean, I live on the East Coast now. I live in New York, but I'm from California.
Mm.
So I feel like people on the coast, they do a lot of traveling, but it's the people in the middle.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Middle America. Some people. I mean, I remember because I'm a musician. Have been fortunate enough to travel. I remember meeting a guy, and he was like, "Yo, man, I've never seen the ocean." You know what I mean? Because he was from like New Mexico or like Oklahoma. He was like, "Hey, man, I've never traveled that far south or that far west or east." So, it does exist. You know.
That's kind of how the people here,
Mhm.
like Saskatchewan, Manitoba. You'll meet a lot of people that have never seen the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They just stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Just like farmers,
Yeah.
farmers, they
They
just
just live. Yeah, they live
stay
in
on
their
their
life.
farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice, man. I'm grateful, but sometimes it's beauty and simplicity. So I'm not mad at it.
Right. I was I was trying to remember the first time I seen you or came across Locksmith, the name Locksmith.
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was Grind Time.
Oh yeah, the battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had like a obsession with rap battles when I was in
Yeah.
high school.
Rap battles big in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then probably like 3, 4, 5 years after high school, there was like a good 10-year span there where
Mhm.
I was obsessed with rap battles. And that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first time I seen you.
Mhm.
That's the first time I seen your name come up. And then, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's you just did a little bit, eh? Just dabbled
Yeah,
a
so
bit.
my rap battling story is kind of interesting. My first rap battle, I kind of accidentally stumbled into it. It actually started before Grind Time. So Grind Time was like kind of like the second phase of my rap battling career, my battle rapping career.
Okay.
The first phase was I I come from the era of when you were battling on beats, and it was completely improvised. So, and it was just like a stumble. I used to be in a group. When I first started rapping, it was 3 of us. It was a group called the Frontline, and we started that like just as kids, just getting into music, getting into. It was my 2 friends. They're like, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, we rapping." "Oh, okay, let me give it a try." And started. It was just a hobby. It was just something that I love to do, and but I was just so so excited about doing it. This new thing, this new passion that I had. I just worked on it. It became like a little bit of an obsession, and then we made our first demo. Okay. So it was like 3 songs. It was on a cassette tape, we were like super excited about like, these are our 3 best songs. We're going to send it to these different places. So we sent it to, there's a thing, called the Source magazine. I don't know if you remember that. It was a hip hop magazine it started in the 80s, 90s, but it was like the Bible of hip hop, and all the great artists that were like dope, they were in there, and a way to get discovered was in a thing called Unsigned Hype. And Unsigned Hype was like a column where they had all the up and coming, whoever the new artist was, and Biggie, Mobb Deep, were all there. So we were like, yo, we need to get in that. Because if we get in that, we get discovered, we're gonna get a record deal, you know? So we sent our demo in to Unsigned Hype, and they used to actually have the phone number in there where you could call and ask them. And I remember I called them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, man, you guys are the, they're all on the East Coast. You guys are the kids from California, right? From Cali." Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, you guys are dope, but I was like, "Well, did we win this month?" Like, because they would post a new one every month. They were like, "Nah, you didn't win this month." We're like, "Well, who won?" It's like, "Well, it's this kid from Detroit. He's working with Dr. Dre, this white kid." We're like, "Man, it was this white kid." You know what I mean? But it ended up being Eminem. You know what I mean? And I remember that's when we first heard about Eminem. We had just saw the Unsigned Hype, and then I think we heard him on the Wake Up Show. And we're like, "Oh, this dude is, you know what I mean? He's dope." But anyway, but they were like, "No worries. We're gonna be coming to the West Coast. We're gonna be in San Francisco area." So I'm from Northern California. He's like, "Okay, so you guys can just come there." And they told us the date. He's like, "Yeah, be there at 10 a.m." We're like, "All right." So we thinking it's like we're gonna play our demo or something like that. So we get there and we have our demo and stuff ready. We're like, "Yeah, we're here for the Unsigned Hype." He's like, "Okay, you sign your name right here." He's like, "Well, we're a group." He's like, "Nah, there's no groups. You have to sign." We're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Are we gonna play our demo?" He's like, "Nah, this is a battle." We're like, "What?" Well, I didn't even know what that was at that time. I didn't really understand. I had never battled before. So we all signed our individual names, and this is when I wasn't really going by Locksmith. My friends were calling me Locksmith because I had only been rapping for maybe like a year or maybe less than that, like months, because this is like, I don't know, 98 or something like that. So anyway, my friends, so we all had to sign up individually. I wrote my name Locksmith, and I remember the guy was like, "Yo, we're like all." It was at the mall. It's literally, they set up a stage in the mall at like 10 a.m. You sign up, and I remember being there like, "All right," and it like each person, you got 30 seconds. You get up there and rhyme, and if you again, you advance to the next round where you actually get to rap against somebody. So I just remember getting up there, and this is my first time performing in front of people. You know what I'm saying? It was just completely improvised freestyle. And I just got up and the crowd was like, "Ooh." I was like, "Oh, I never had that feeling before." And I did well, So I kind of realized like, oh, and I looked at everybody else kind of struggling. I kind of noticed like, oh, I have a knack for this. Like I didn't feel scared or intimidated. Like as soon as it was time to go, it was time to go. And then actually the guy who was like the host was like, "Yo, what's your name again?" I was like, "Locksmith." He's like, "Yo, that's a hot name." And I was like, "Oh, maybe that is a good name." You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be called Locksmith. I thought that was like a stupid name, because I said it in a rap. So my friends were like, "You're a Locksmith." And I was like, "Nah, I'm going to think of something better. That's cool for now. It's a placeholder." But when the guy from the source was like, "Yo, that's a hot name," I was like, "Yo, maybe it is a hot name." So that was my first battle. And I was beating everybody. I had never did it before, and I got all the way to the last person, and I didn't win the whole thing, but it was down to me and that guy. Whoever wins gets the trip to New York to go, and he got the trip, but I got the notoriety,
Right.
and I kind of developed a reputation as a battler, even though I had never did it before, and yeah, that's beeping. You hear that beeping? Oh, okay. What was that?
I
Okay.
just said door opening.
Oh, okay. I was just like, but yeah, that was that was how it started, man. So that was the beginning, and then after that, then I went on MTV and I did like the battle on MTV, and that got me a lot of notoriety. You could Google it. You go on YouTube, type in Locksmith MTV battle, and you'll see it. It was on Times Square, TRL, with Sway and Carson Daly and all these people, and all these different judges, and it was amazing. I got so much notoriety from that, and then I stopped battling. I was making records, and then the grind time thing came along. And this is when I was trying to make a name for myself. And I saw the guys on grind time. I was like, oh, they're in California. You know what I'm saying? This would be a good way for me to get my name out there as a solo artist, because I was still in a group at the time. So around 2008 is when I started doing the grind time battles. And then I got a lot of notoriety from that. So it was kind of, but I stumbled into battle rap.
Right.
It wasn't something I was looking to do. It just happened.
It's wild too for something to stumble into and then to have a battle with disaster.
Mm.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that the battle, yeah, that was, so like I said, when grind time after I did the MTV battle, me and my group, we had a lot of success, in regionally in Northern California. We were on the radio, we're performing at Summer
Mhm.
Jam concerts, and, we got a record deal, and then after about 2 years, things kinda fizzled out, the record deal collapsed, you know what I mean? Um, but I was still full-fledged, like, a rapper, like, I was like, "Yo, I gotta do this, I gotta figure it out." So I'm writing these raps, I'm trying to get better. And that's when I start seeing, YouTube. I discovered YouTube, and seeing these guys battling. And oh, actually, it was World Star. World Star Hip
Mm,
Hop was a website where they posted all this crazy content, but they also posted battle rappers. And I saw Grind Time was this battle rap. I don't even know if it was really a league at that point, but they were like holding these battles just like outside. They were holding battles anywhere they could.
right.
And it was just raw and it was getting millions of views. And I was like, yo, I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? And I already had the history of the MTV battle. So, when we reached out, they were like, "Yeah, Locksmith is, he was on the MTV." You know what I mean? Like we would love to have him. So I battled Passwords in the Bay Area, and then that battle did well. And then they were like, "Who would you want to battle next?" Oh, then they were like, there was a guy, Daylight.
Mm,
Daylight was like, "Yo, this guy Daylight wants to battle you." I was like, "All right, let's do it." You know what I mean? And at this point, I understand that the battling has changed. We used to be on the beat, it used to be improvised. Now you prepare, you know
right.
who your opponent is ahead of time. It's like this guy Daylight. I was like, "All right, cool, he's next." You know what I mean? And then after that, they were like, "Who do you want to battle?" And I was like, "Oh, there's like this guy Disaster wants to battle you." I was just like, "All right, let's do that." So that's how it all just kind of worked out. Yeah.
Just like every battle you got was like a legend, like
Well, this is early
Daylight.
on. Yeah,
That's
this is
yeah,
this is early on. Everybody was, I was already known at that time because I had, like I said, I did the MTV stuff. They were known probably more in like LA.
right,
But yeah, we were all on the come up,
right.
you know.
That's cool, man. Like that's a cool beginning.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
It was fun, man. Like I learned a lot um from, just the whole scene, the battle rapping scene. I feel like battle rapping contributed a lot to my mentality and the way I perform, live performing, the way I think about performing,
mm,
and the way I even perform songs in the studio to a certain extent too, when I'm recording. Like I feel like battle rapping um shaped me in a lot of ways.
right. It's like a lot of a lot of emotion in it. Like it's like very. You can feel what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're good at like not just saying it,
It's a performance.
right?
It is a performance for sure.
Do you still follow at all?
No, I stopped
No.
I stopped following a while. Once I kind of got out of it, I kept my, eye out for certain things and watched certain big battles, but I mean, it's been years, you know what I mean? I don't really, um, I will pop, on the road, you know what I mean? Certain guys would show me certain battles. I'm like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't something I was following. But I have a tremendous amount of respect
Mhm.
for, for where it's at now. You know what I'm saying? What they've been able to do.
Yeah.
They reached a few different leagues reach out to me to get me back into it, but it just never seemed. I always do, like when I did the battles, I never got paid for them. I just did them because I wanted to just, one, I wanted to express myself in that way creatively, and two, I wanted to use it to focus on my song making and my career as a recording artist. So
Mhm.
once I kind of felt like I did that, I was just like, I've listened to a couple people that's like, "Hey, but it was never to me, it was never worth it to go back if I wasn't gonna be fully dedicated." I have too much respect for it. Like,
Right.
whenever I do something, I don't play around. So if Imma be a battle rapper again, if Imma get back in there, I'm gonna really lock in and really focus. Because to me, it takes a tremendous amount of focus, you know, um, to lock in the way I wanna be able to perform and do it the way I feel like it's do it. So, but I haven't followed it as much in recent years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I it's like I feel like with your style and how you write and how you put things together, you're very intelligent,
Thank you.
you know, like very it's just like very masterful how you put it togetgether, you
Mhm.
know, and that's kind of how
Yeah,
they are too, right?
for
They're just
sure.
very
Absolutely, yeah.
intricate and but I think because when I listen to your music, I can tell how intelligent you are because you're like I don't know how to say this, like a force for good. You
Oh,
know, you're
thank you.
than to find truth,
Thank
right?
you.
And the way you write and you share stories, you're not choosing a side.
Mhm.
You're not like, there's a lot of tribalism right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
in
I try
our
to report what's going on,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, um, people people will find stuff in your music, and it's so they take what people hear what they wanna hear,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? So people will hear certain stuff, and they be like, "Oh, you're pro this or you're pro that." I was like, "I never said that. I try to report what's going on."
right.
So, like stuff that's going on in the United States, like when a certain person is in office, I'm reporting about it. It may seem like I'm being critical of them. Well, they're the one that's in office right now. If they're doing something that's worth critiquing, I'm going to critique it. But then if 4 years later, if somebody else is in there,
Mhm,
if they're doing something worth me critiquing, I'm going to critique it.
right.
But that's just the timestamp that we're in at this time. You understand? So people will hear certain things and they'll lock in on that because it's what's going on at that moment. But it's like I always take the side of truth.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Like I try to take the side of truth. I take the side of where my morals and my standards are at. And if people try to associate that with whatever, that's the way they hear, you know?
Yeah. We're kind of in the in the age of like clipping things and canceling people and
Yeah.
making people look bad.
Yeah.
I can hear that.
There was a part I'll give you an example. There was a song that I did, back in I think I released it in 2023. I may have recorded it in 2022, but it was when, Joe Biden was in office, right? And I was critical of what was going on, and then when Donald Trump was running for president, he took a clip and actually shared it on social media.
Yeah.
So all these people thinking like, "Yo, you're pro-Trump." I'm just like, I ain't never said I was critical of the president at the time
Mhm.
who was in office. And you know what I mean? But if you take another clip or hear something, it wouldn't I'm sure Trump wouldn't be too excited about
Right.
that. But this is the world that we live in now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? People take certain things. But as like I feel like as artists, we're mirrors. You know what I mean? I try to hold up a mirror. This is what, society's looking at itself, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the important part of music, and same with like stand-up comedy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They
Comics for sure. Stand-up
they
comics.
yeah, they just show people what they're doing and they say it in a way that it's like, okay, I do look like an idiot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. It's art, man.
Yeah. And the whole I don't know how even here, like we like to talk about American politics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we're neighbors.
Yeah, more than we talk about our own politics.
Yeah.
Like I almost, because being a coach at the gym, I get all my politics from the people who come in. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah, for
watch
sure.
TV
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff,
You hear about it.
so I hear about it. But man, I hear about America way more than our own politics.
America's a chaotic place.
Yeah, I go there. It's I go there quite often for boxing and
Okay,
for
yeah.
fights, and
Mhm.
it always seems and obviously like I'm just a guest, I'm a visitor, just but it always seems like it's fine. Like it seems like everyone's just living,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
man,
when
for
I come back here, everyone here is like,
it's crazy down there. It's
yeah, and they're just scared to cross the border. They're like
no,
messaging me, "Are
for
you okay?"
for the most part, everyday people are chill. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But, it's just yeah, I mean, that's just what you see. Of course, that's gonna get more clicks.
right,
You know what I mean? The stuff that the crazy things that happen, that people
yeah.
clip up and put on social media. The algorithm.
The algorithm for Insta,
Yeah, exactly.
just like World Star. That's what I
Exactly.
always think
Yep.
of. But Canada, okay, before we started, we were talking about Canada.
Yeah.
How interested you are in our country.
Yeah, I just think it's fascinating, man. I've got to see a little bit of it, but particularly like the native people, I've gotten to interact and talk with. I mean, any place I go, I always try to like speak and hear the stories and connect with the native people.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because their stories are unique from anyone else. Like even like I went to Australia, I got a chance to like, come across a couple of the native people of that land, you know? And I see like commonalities and like and I don't know, maybe I just identify with it. Um so I just respect that. And because I see the rest of the world, this quote unquote developed world,
right.
but then I see the people, I always like want to know what the people who are marginalized think.
Mm,
What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you look at this? Because it's not just one story. Um, so yeah, I think I'm always, I identify with that. I always am curious about that. And Canada is kind of like it's like our neighbor, but it's a mystery to me too, to a certain degree. Like I read about it in history books and stuff that went on, but a lot of stuff is just to get a personal experience because it's quite different. Like when I come up here and I see it and I see the native people, I don't see that where I'm from. You know what I mean? I see a lot of other stuff, but I don't see that. You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
I'm curious. I'm just naturally curious about like, hey man, how you feel? What do you think about this? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? What's your story? I've talked with like native people like in the US, like I performed on reses,
Nice.
and stuff like that. And I talked with them and I got to hear their stories. And but when I come to Canada, obviously because I haven't been up here, this is like my third time being up here. But I haven't been able to interact as much. So couple of the shows, I think what was the first show we did out in Chilliwack? Yeah, I got to speak with a young man. He was telling me about his family story and being native and where they came from, and it was fascinating.
Hmm.
What was his name?
I forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, but it's either Iva MH or Diva MH.
Yeah,
Kiva MH.
yeah, yeah. So it's dope, man.
Yeah, and it's because so I'm half. I'm
Mhm.
half, but I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up in the culture. I didn't grow up on a reserve.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up with my mom.
Mhm.
We just moved a lot. But
Okay.
after high school, when I moved back to Saskatoon, I started meeting my dad's side of the
Mhm.
family and kind of diving into that side and
Mhm.
learning about the culture. And
Yeah.
now that I have with boxing and I do a lot of community stuff now, I've been able to go out and learn and
That's
just
fire.
hear the voices
Yeah.
and try and understand. I still don't,
Yeah, yeah, but
obviously,
you learning.
but I'm
Yeah.
just like learning and trying to see the world through how they see it,
Mhm.
because it's wild how everyone is. I feel like everyone's just compared to capitalism,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
who you are is compared to this
The
one
standard,
system,
yeah, this
right?
system, this one standard,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like they don't even see that. They
Yeah.
don't even see they have to now, right? To
Yeah.
survive, but like that's not how they live, that's not how
Mhm.
they see, that's
That's
not
not
how
how
they
they don't view the world through the glasses of Western imperialism or capitalism.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool to learn and to finally see and then just to see like the that I can actually like when people are talking about indigenous people, I can be like you just don't understand, like they
Mhm.
don't even see the world through the same lens
Mhm.
and it's like I have this one boxer from China.
Mhm.
He doesn't speak much English,
Mhm. Mhm.
and um, I just was just like, "What brought you over here?" And he's like, Canadians are lazy. They're easy to compete against.
Mm.
So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna do better.
Mm.
And it's like, no. I thought, then I was thinking about that. Like, if we moved to China,
Mhm.
we'd get left in the dust.
Mm.
Right? Just because how their culture moves,
Mm.
they
Mhm.
see it through a certain lens,
Yeah.
what you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be it,
Mhm.
and then that's how we are, and we kind of just put that on everyone else, and it's
Mhm.
such an odd mentality,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
So being able to go and be a part of those cultures now,
Mhm.
it's cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm going up north, and that's even wild.
Mhm.
Like they just live off caribou.
Yeah, they live a different life. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that is fascinating to me. Like how far north are you going? Like, where are you going?
Like by Nunavut.
Okay, is that still in this same province or?
It's no Manitoba.
Okay.
So same province as Winnipeg,
Okay, it's in
but
Manitoba.
just like as far
Fur
north
north.
as you can go.
Wow.
Like from Winnipeg, it's probably driving north like 12, 13 hours.
Wow.
But you can't drive there right now because it's melted.
It's
So
too
you have
yeah.
to fly
You
there.
gotta fly.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this community, man, their teamwork, like they just work together.
Yeah,
They work together.
wow.
You know, they're doing fishing, they're hunting, they have all these contests so that they can get all
Yeah.
these geese right now. Like it's
Fire.
so wild to see.
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then here just
So
like
you going up there like for some boxing coaching or what?
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah. So that's mainly what I do is
Yeah.
I go to communities, coach boxing, and then coach boxing in the city here.
Dope.
Yeah, man.
Dope.
Super fun.
Yeah,
But
man.
even that, like, I don't know how often do you tour?
Usually like twice a year, probably.
Twice a year.
Yeah, sometimes more than others. Sometimes, sometimes a little less. But before COVID, I was touring nonstop.
Mm,
And then COVID happened, everything kind of shut down, and then slowly been working it back.
right. Well, that's what like next time if you guys are working together again or in the future, we should try and get you up at a Northern Reserve somewhere.
I would love to, man. I would love to get up there, dude.
Because man, they bring lots of people up, you
Yeah.
know, just because people kind of have to come to them if they
Yeah,
want to do stuff,
of
right?
course, yeah.
So they bring lots of artists up
Summertime, though.
there. Yeah, yeah. It's
Summertime.
Yeah,
I don't want to get stuck up in the blizzard. Yeah.
man. And even up there, man, they have like 4 months of summer. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
I'm gonna go up there. They still have snow.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, we were just in where we at Lloydminster. I mean, it was snow. Came out and snow all covered the cars. I'm like, yo, I thought it was spring. It's May.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm from California. I've been living in New York for the last 2 years, so I got to experience my first couple like living in the winter,
Right.
like snow.
Right.
And I wasn't tripping. Like I was like, yo, I'm excited. Everybody else is like, this snow. I'm like, yo, this is fascinating.
Mm.
But I don't have to get out and like plow snow and do all that kind of stuff. Like I live in an apartment building with a garage and everything is, they salt the ground, they salt the sidewalks. So I'm like, oh, doo-doo-doo. And everybody else is out like shoveling stuff. But, it's over now though. Like, so I come here, I'm like, yo, why is it still snowing?
Yeah,
But I did bring a coat. He's the Canadian. He didn't bring a coat.
honestly, man, I have no idea what's going on either, man.
Yeah.
I'm waking up to. I was supposed to go for a run this morning.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people. Everyone canceled. They're like, I'm not running.
Just do it.
Supposed to, yeah. So this is like the thing that's normal about Canada is that the weather is never consistent.
Oh, last time I toured here, I want to say it was 2019. It was summertime. And the first show was in BC, and we were in Prince. Not the island. That's not the island, right? It's Prince something. Prince Edwards. Prince. I don't know. It's in BC. We had to fly from Vancouver up there, and I remember I took a nap, and they were like, "Hey man, you got to get ready for the show." I'm like, "What do you mean? I got plenty of time." I was like, "No, man, the show was like." I was like, "I thought the show was like at 11." He was like, "Yo, it's like 10:30," but it was bright. It's day. I'm like, oh, and I realized like, yo, we're up north. Summertime, you only get a few hours of nighttime. So I'm literally on stage performing and I'm looking out the window and it looks like it's like 5 p.m.
Right.
But it's midnight. So the sun, I felt like it never really set all the way. It was like always kind of like, dusk or something like that. And then the sun just rose up again. I was like, yo, it messed with me mentally. I was like, and I was only there for like 48 hours or like 36 hours. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
So Canada is very mysterious.
Did you see the Northern Lights?
No, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
People talk about it. Yeah, I haven't heard it. That's like the concept, like the stars that
Yeah.
like form that like kind of haze.
Yeah, and they dance around.
Yeah,
Wild.
I heard about it.
Yeah,
Be able to see it.
that'd be cool.
I don't know, eh?
When you were in Australia, were you able to go more into the middle and meet
No,
any tribes or anything
no,
like
I didn't
that?
get to go. That is a huge
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, I went to Australia. I got a chance to go there about 10 years ago. Some promoters hit me up, brought me out there. I got to see a lot of the country though, because I went to the West Coast, the South, the East, you know. I went to Perth. I went to Melbourne. I went to Gold Coast, Sydney,
Mm.
obvious, Brisbane, all those places. Byron Bay, beautiful. Some of the, I mean, that's by far the most beautiful oceans I've ever seen, like beaches and stuff like that.
Blue.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I haven't been to the Caribbean. I've been to Hawaii, been down to Miami, but Australia, I mean, you want to talk, it looked like AI.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, but you're living in it. I'm like looking at it like, yo, this water is crazy, beautiful, gorgeous. Yeah. But I didn't get to go into the outback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But you see the native people, you know, because they look different because they're not white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like they're very dark skinned, but then they have like curly blonde hair, some of them. And like it's a trip. It's like, yo, like it's just beautiful how biology and nature works that way. But these are the native people, you know what I'm saying? Super chill. I remember it was this one native dude that would just be chilling because I was staying in Byron Bay, like on the off days, and he just had what they call it, like the didgeridoo,
Okay. Yeah.
didgeridoo, and he's just like sitting there playing it. You know what I'm saying? He's just like super chill, like you know what I mean. That was his thing. He just got up every day in town and just he's playing the didgeridoo. You know? Yeah.
And what about your culture? Have you done a lot of diving into your own
Yeah, I
culture?
think so. Well, my mom is Black African American. You know what I'm saying? And my father is from Iran.
Okay, yeah.
So, growing up, I grew up predominantly just like, you know, culturally Black,
Right.
you know? But then it wasn't until I want to say when I got a little older, like maybe like late in high school, college for sure, is when some of my father's family started coming over. So I met my grandmother, my uncles. I started in college, I started studying Near Eastern studies and learning about the history and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful, you know what I'm saying, for that uh having that diverse kind of upbringing, or you know what I mean, being introduced to that and having that part of me. Like I said, when I was young, it didn't occur to me
Right.
because I just, you know, I grew up, you know, just in California in the hood, you know, but I knew something was different because my father culturally had a different culture, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't think about it, but everybody didn't even know. They was like, "Was your dad Mexican or something?" Like they didn't know, like you know what I mean, like because this wasn't a common thing, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to go back?
Not since I was young. Not since I was young. Yeah, but I want to. You know, obviously it's hectic right now.
Yeah.
But what's going on, it makes me want to go back even more now. I'm like, yo, when this calms down, first chance I get, I'm there. I actually, my father passed away recently, a little less than 2 years ago. But we were actually getting all the paperwork in order so I could go there. And then he passed away. So now, because of the conflict and stuff that's going on now, is not the time. But hopefully, when this all settles, which it will, uh, go back and visit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool, man. That's it's cool, man, to like, cause I remember when, like, I think I had a similar experience, you know, just like
Hmm.
w- one day realizing I was native,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like growing up my whole life and it
Hmm.
just like not being talked about.
Yeah.
It was just like I just lived with my mom and my
Well, you
brothers,
know
and then
what? I definitely knew because my mother and father were together. So my father was there.
okay,
I knew that I was, part Iranian and part Persian, but it just wasn't a part of my everyday, like, culturally. It just, it was just other than my father was the only Persian person I know, Iranian, and then a
right,
few cousins here and there and people, but for the most part, every day my friends, my brothers and sisters, they're all just black. So that's just the way I saw life through that. But I always knew. And then when I got into high school is when I started asking questions like, yo, what's this and what's that? Like, you know what I
right,
mean? And yeah, it was a great discovery, but it was always there. I wasn't completely shut off from it. You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't want to take that credit away from my dad, like, like,
Yeah, yeah,
because he was there, like, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't as interested. I was just interested in basketball,
yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? Girls and just,
yeah.
that type of stuff. I wasn't even thinking about none of that stuff.
Were you a pretty big sports guy in high school?
Yeah, high school basketball for sure.
Basketball.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
when did that transition into music?
Probably like right after I played 1 year. College ball. I was recruited and stuff like that, but then I just started falling in love with music. So that became
Hmm,
like I finished college, but while I was in college, my priority was like, yo, let me get college over so I can get to this music.
right.
Yeah.
And was that just through your friends, through family, or did you
What?
just find music on
Oh,
your own?
yeah. So my sister was actually a rapper. I have an
Okay.
older sister. So in the 90s, early 90s, she was touring Europe.
Wow.
She started off as a dancer, singer, then a rapper. She was doing talent shows all across California, the Bay Area. She got a chance to tour Europe. She had record deal offers, but then she ended up, she got married. She ended up having kids, so that kind of like slowed her down a little bit. And then like life happens. But I grew up like going to her shows, watching her perform, watching her go into the studio, watching her write raps. Um, and then, me being, a young guy coming up, my friends, they're rapping. So that had an influence, but I didn't realize like that it was already in me because I saw my sister doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a huge, huge influence.
Yeah. When you talk about when you were first starting and then like recording on cassettes,
Hmm.
how do you go from you know on cassettes to records to CDs to
Hmm.
internet blowing up to
Hmm.
MP3 to how do you become so adaptable, adjustable, maneuvering through all this, staying independent
Yeah.
while other people disappear, come and go, disappear?
That's a good question, man. Well, I think it starts off one with I always did this just because I just love doing it. Like I love just the artistry. So if I was doing it because it was a hustle or it was like, obviously you want to make money off
Right.
of, you want to make a living for yourself. But that wasn't it's still not my driving factor. But I just always feel like my art, like I got something to say. So as long as I got something to say, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Mm,
So whether it was, I want to say in the early part, it was just about, I was just learning. You know what I mean? I want to say at least for like the first 5 or 6 years, I was just learning. But I think I just, like I said, I had a natural knack. Like I had a natural knack to battle. I didn't know that. Then, um, songs got on the radio, like, oh, like, like, so it was just like this natural. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't think I should just waste this. This isn't something you just should just give up. And then just falling in love and having the passion for it. Like, even still to this day, like, being an independent artist, I'm very grateful that I'm able to make a living. I'm able to travel the world, all the do these stuff. But, like, take, for instance, we talking about COVID, like when that happened and, there was no touring.
Right.
At first it seemed cool, but then after about first 18 months, I'm like, yo, when is this gonna be over? Like, I need to get back on the road, do this. Like, things are going cool, but now the economy is slowing down where, inflation is happening. It's enough to make you wanna like, oh man, maybe do something else. But I just like, I was just like, you know what? No, this is meant to be. I'm gonna stick with this. I love this. This is my passion. I feel like I have something to say, something to contribute. It will work out. And it just always does. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, like you said, going from cassette, going to CDs, going to the internet, whatever it is, like being on TV. Like a lot of people, I see people, that MTV battle, that was 20 years ago, if you look it up. And then I still have people hit me up like, yo, blah, blah, people that was like on the thing with me. I'm like, damn, I can't believe this. But they didn't, for whatever reason, some of them stopped or started again. I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay at this. Like if I stop, I'm not gonna be able to restart. So let me keep going. Let me keep my consistency. And I keep
Mhm.
that consistency because of the passion. And I feel like I have something to say. You know what I mean? It's therapeutic for me. And so yeah, that's what keeps me going with it.
Yeah, you seem to me like a you're like a lifelong learner. Like
I
you
appreciate
you
that, man.
enjoy
Yeah,
knowledge, you enjoy
absolutely.
taking in information, and then what comes with that is like probably a lot of failure, right? But failing forward
Yeah,
and
exactly.
having that healthy relationship with failure.
Exactly.
Uh,
It's not really failure, it's just learning.
right. So where did that come from? Because some people like have to really work hard to develop that skill, and others it seems more natural.
I think just, faith in something higher, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I think that's a large contributing factor. I also think like my family, like I just have confidence in myself too.
right.
But I just think I have confidence in, you know, God. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, okay, like there's something bigger than me. If this is meant to be, it's gonna happen. So I don't have to worry about it to a certain degree. I also try not to make dire mistakes. Like you just make mistakes, but not just like compound the mistake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if I have a mistake, like, okay, that was a mistake, but not like, well, then whatever. You know what I mean? Just like completely throw everything out the window. Be like, okay, that was a mistake. Let me just kind of learn from it. And
Yeah.
but don't compound it by, you know, just like whatever. You
Just keep doing it.
just yeah, or just
Yeah.
like taking one thing and just like, like if the doctor tells you your blood sugar is high, don't just keep eating.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, let me stop. Let me just try to do that, learn from that. Now I have that wisdom. I think that's wisdom. You
Right.
learn from it, your experiences, and you're able to contribute it to help you. Like when you have been a veteran in anything you've done, if you spent years doing it, you actually have like the cheat code because you've seen so many experiences, you kind of know the outcome. But you have to have the wisdom in how to apply it and also don't be stuck in your ways. You know what I mean? But you do have the wisdom. Like, oh, I know how that story's going to end,
Mm,
because you've seen it happen. But at the same time, how do you keep that same enthusiasm? That's what a lot of people, when they've been doing it, they don't have the same enthusiasm because, life be life.
right.
You know?
So speaking of lifing, when you talk about like drive, what does drive you then if music is for the love of it, but what if you stripped all that away? The music, the touring, like
Mm,
like who are you and what drives you
mm.
without all that?
Like I said, my faith, man. You know what I'm saying? I try to lock in on that faith in something higher than myself. Uh, Trying to be a light of
Yeah.
inspiration because to me, I can't, it's hard. Like I said, when I first started doing music, I just wanted to get good at it. And I still want to get good. I always want to, but I feel like now me getting good depends on my uh my mental and spiritual state. So
Mm,
that's the thing that I have to work on. Like, what am I gonna do? Maybe I don't need to be going out and partying at the club or trying to, you know what I mean? Like maybe I need to like that's gonna uplift me. Like you know, you got to be self-aware of those type of things. So I feel like the mental, the psychological part of it, the spiritual part of it is very important.
Right.
You know, it's I ain't perfect, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So I try to focus in on that, whatever I'm doing in life, because you got to grow as a human being. You know, and if you grow as a human being, then naturally as an artist, you're gonna grow. I feel like if you're being sincere with your art.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think self-awareness is the hardest part.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know for myself, sometimes in some areas I have none. So I need people around me who will
Mhm.
be honest with me, because just like in this area, I just can't figure it out on my own, you know? I just need somebody to
Yeah.
slap me a little bit and be like, "Hey."
Self. I feel like that's one thing. I don't know. I think maybe from my mother, my father, my family. I feel like I've always pretty much. I've been maybe sometimes too self-aware.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a pretty self-aware person. Um, I don't live in the clouds, but I feel like it is important to allow yourself to live in the clouds sometimes too,
right.
so you can aspire. But I'm self-aware.
Do you ever feel like you get overly self-aware where you stop yourself from
Yeah,
doing things?
but I'm aware of it.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
be like, yo, dog. It is you should, like you do have to have a form of delusion
Mm,
in order to be successful, I think. Not a harmful, but you do have an amount like, yo, this could be incredible. This could change the world.
right.
So I do have to allow myself to think like that too. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, bro, you never know. You could change the world.
Mm,
You could change yourself. You could change the people around you, maybe the whole world, like, or you could do that. So you got to allow yourself to do that. You got to allow yourself to dream, you know? But at the same time, you got to know when it's time to be self aware too. So, but I think it's good to be delusional sometimes,
I agree.
to some degree.
Mm,
Like but I don't know if it's delusion. Maybe it's just, just, um, what do you call it? When you see the good and stuff, was,
yeah,
just, you know,
optimistic.
optimist. Yeah, optimistic.
Yeah. And I'll like, because yeah, like even just from this conversation, like the combination of that you have, and then just like you're like you said, you're confident in yourself.
Yeah.
You're a competent person, right? Like you
Mhm.
understand, you've been through things, you've gotten through it.
For sure. Yeah.
You're gonna get through other things, and other things are gonna come up.
Yeah.
So having that combination of like self
Nah, not
confidence.
to cut you off. It just made me realize something. Like I told you, like when my father passed away in 2024, it wasn't like he got sick and he just suddenly passed, right? Tragically passed. And it just like hit me. It was like one of the biggest tragedies, even though my father was older, he was late 70s, but I was just like, it just I had never got smacked with such a all of a
Mm,
sudden. Maybe when I was much younger, my cousin was killed, like murdered. But I was, when you're young, when you get older, shit just hit different,
right.
like, and this is my father. And so I was just like, but the lessons that he taught me, he left me with just like a treasure trove of lessons and things. So it's just like eh, he told me what to do in this situation. Like it was like he'd been preparing me my whole life for it. You know, my mother as well. So I don't know. I felt like when you talk about when you're asking me the question of like I feel like I got to give my parents a lot of
Mm,
credit for that for sure because I feel like I definitely am grateful for the lessons that they left me with that. You know what I mean? So even though I'm a grown man,
yeah,
but in your mind when you think of your parents, you're still, their child.
right.
So I lean on that as a man, those
Mhm.
lessons,
Yeah, it's kind of shaped you,
For
and
sure. Yeah.
they gave you your first tools, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm grateful for that, man. Like, like everybody didn't have their parents, and it wasn't always easy, but they did it.
So going back to music,
Mhm.
um, you got anything new coming out? Any new projects you're
Oh,
working
yeah.
on?
Yeah, man, I put out my last project, it's called Wine and Circus. That was, uh what we in? 2026. So it was fall of 2025. I put out the album. It was entirely produced by Heat Makers. Shout
Mhm.
out to Arsonist. Because like I said, I moved to New York. I wanted to remove myself from my familiar surroundings. I always loved the East Coast. I had spent a lot of time going back and forth there. So I just moved across country, you know, and while I was recording that, that's when all this stuff happened with my father, you know. It was the album was pretty much complete, but I was just like in the throes of it. But I completed the album, put it out, um, but I immediately started working because I had like all these other like things to talk about, all this other stuff. So that's what I've been working on. Um, um, but I had to kind of grieve for a little while, you know what I mean? And mind you, I'm still going on tour and stuff like that too.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I went on tour twice or 2 or 3 times since then, not including this tour, you know? So, but I'm still like, I'm processing the emotions and I'm expressing it in the art. I'm using it to grieve, but I'm using it to motivate. So this all kind of wrapped up in this next album.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of stuff happening at the same
It
time.
is, man. It is. But I just think about like what my father, what would he want? Like he would want me to keep going. He would want me to like utilize it, use it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, really excited about this album, this project. Like I haven't even talked about it. I mean, I have been working on it for a while. Um, so I'm excited about it, but it's not quite done. I'm still working, you know. Not putting any time limit on it, but it's getting to that point where I'm gonna start putting some stuff out, letting it out again, you know.
Mm. I know your and your last uh uh project there, every song
Mm.
is so good.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Every single one.
You talking about the Wine and Circus?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Arsonist, man. We really, yeah.
I like I'm like so impressed by how you put things together.
Thank you.
Like how often I listen to your music and I'm like, man, like I wish I thought of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
man. Thank you.
how you put things together and then like but it's like thoughtful.
Yeah, thank you.
Like
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about what you're saying and
Mhm.
I'm always wondering what you meant by that. You
Well, one of
know?
the beauties of that project too is because Arsonist, Heat Makers, he produced the whole project. So I didn't worry about beats or nothing. You know what I mean? It was just like he had the soundscapes.
Mm,
I'm just like, yo, I would just go to the
nice.
studio, I wanted on the train in Manhattan, you know what I mean? Soaking it in, take the beats, I go home, go back to the studio, you know what I'm saying? Record them. Like it's just, and that's kind of, yeah, I don't, to me, that's probably the part about music I love the most is creating it.
Right.
Like I love performing, don't get me wrong. I love it. I love doing it. And it's a great reward, but it's something about when I'm just like, and just going to the studio and we're recording it and the person hearing it for the first time.
Mhm.
And it's like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or them not even knowing it. And then him later, like, yo, I didn't even catch this. Or you said this and it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's the beauty. I love that. I just love that. I love the process. So that's another reason when you ask, goes back to what you say, like, what makes you keep, I love the process.
Mm,
Like, it's nothing better than that to me.
yeah.
Like,
Just like those aha moments,
yeah,
like
just like, what do I want to talk
yeah.
about? Like right now, I have like all these songs done for the album, but it's just like, I feel like there's a few things I want to talk about. So I'm like, how am I going to talk? What do I want to say? Like, what is it? But when it hits, when it comes, you just know it. You just feel it. Like,
Mm,
okay, it's time to, you know what I mean? It's time to go there. Like like when I'm creating an album, I think about all the emotions and all the things I'm feeling at this time. And sometimes I'll have the concept at first, but sometimes the concept will come. And then once the concept kind of comes, it's like a dartboard. And I'm like, okay, I hit every dot. And I'm like, okay, I hit all these dots, but there's like a couple dots. If I can figure out a way to hit those dots, it'll just like bring
mm,
it. And sometimes you don't always get it all the way, But if you can get it, I feel like that's when you make a classic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that last album, we made it very condensed. I feel like the dots that we put out, we pretty much hit them because we didn't put a lot of darts on the board. We just kept it like hit these things, and you know what I'm saying? We hit them. So yeah,
Well, yeah. Well, congrats, man. Because
thank you,
I
bro.
agree, man. That's one that you should be super proud of.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's even with a lot of your music. I feel like depending what season of life you're in, you're gonna hear a different message.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, which is another thing that I think is hard to do.
Yeah. Some people, depending on where you at with it, some people you just may not be. I know I'm like that. Like certain stuff, I'll be like, and then later on, I go back and like, yo, that was amazing, but I just wasn't ready to hear it. You know, with certain artists you love them because of where you're at in life and you were introduced to them or you heard something that, you know what I mean, that spoke to you during that time. So, but that's art, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it, art. And if you really created something timeless, then it may just hit at different times, you know? Mhm.
That's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
we're coming up to an hour here.
Yeah, man. Good
It's
conversation, bro.
yeah. Honestly, it was awesome meeting you, and it's awesome to kind of just dive into your mind a little bit, and it really helps me understand when I'm listening to your music, like
Thank you.
the person that's behind that,
For
because
sure.
sometimes it is a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Like, but meeting you and
Yeah.
and
Because the music, you know, it's there, but sometimes it's coded. You know what I
right,
mean? It's
right,
coded in a way.
a
It's
little bit of a disconnect, right?
because, you know, you're getting direct, you know what I mean, information, whereas the music, you're conveying it in a certain way. And it's art, and people interpret art different ways. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's the beauty of it, you know?
Yeah. And for me, like I'm not a big I'm more on lyrics.
Mhm.
Like I like lyricists
Yeah. Me
more
too.
than I like music.
Mhm.
More than I like this sounds good.
Mhm.
Like I like simple beats
Yeah.
and people who can rap really well.
For sure, yeah.
And I think that's why I'm attracted to your stuff.
Thank you, yeah.
So yeah, I guess if there's anything you want to say to wrap this up, to
Nah, man,
shout
I
out,
appreciate
anything
it.
like
I
that.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate, you know, like this is my second time in Saskatoon, I think. So I'm glad that we got here, got to meet and talk with some people.
Mhm.
Because I think the first time I came here, I don't even remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think I just got here. It was in the evening. I walked around a little bit, got something to eat, and went and performed. And it was a lot of indigenous people there.
Mm.
So that was dope. It was like almost all indigenous people.
I'm sure it'll be like that again.
Well, look, I encourage everybody and I welcome all people, but you know, it's white people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But the indigenous people, you know what I'm saying? They almost extinct
right.
in America. You know, in the United States. So here, I want to hear the stories. Like I want to see the people. You know. So when I saw that, I was like, "Yo, I wasn't expecting this." Like when I think of Canada, I think of Donald Baker. Like this is like a quintessential Canadian. You know what I'm saying? I think of Donald Baker. I think of like what's the like Paul Bunyan, like these type of guy. You know what I'm saying? I think of Rick Moranis. I think of Strange Brew. You know, but when I see the indigenous people, I'm like, oh no, this is the land before time. You know what I'm saying? And you get to see that, so that'd be dope. You know what I mean? But I'm happy to see everybody. Don't get me wrong, but I just wasn't expecting that. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get to come back to Saskatoon. I wonder what it's gonna be like. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, and
for sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, and have fun at your show tonight.
Absolutely, man.
Man, a bunch of who's all opening tonight?
We got 9-3 and Cyclophone. We got Osmodius, Vasos, Goontown, Caden,
Nice.
Skizza, Reggie T, myself.
We got a packed lineup.
We got EMB on the 1s and 2s.
Mm.
Of course, Locksmith.
Yeah, man. We repping hard, man. This is a real hip hop in Saskatoon, man. Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Awesome. All right.
Peace.